What's going on, everyone? This is Vince from Life with Vince Luu, and I am some random guy on YouTube with a bunch of hobbies and a bunch of interests. So if you want to follow my journey, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And one of those interests is reading and self-development. And today I actually finished The Alchemist. And it's more of a refinish because this is my third time reading it, but every time I read it, I always take something a little bit different. And it's a story of a shepherd boy, and it takes you through his journey to search for his personal legend, or the things that he's always wanted to accomplish in life. And he meets a bunch of different people on the way, and there's a lot of life lessons in here, and a lot of things that I can draw inspiration, metaphors in my own life. And overall, just a really good book, so I highly recommend The Alchemist if you haven't read it already. And actually finishing up this book for a third time, that made me think of a conversation that I was having with a friend the other day. And basically the conversation was that she was reading books and she was finishing them, but she wasn't recommending them and she wasn't enjoying them. And that made me think of something that I learned and picked up a few years ago, actually from Tai Lopez. And that's something that I learned, was that there are no rules when you're reading books. So if you start a book, who says that you have to finish it? Who says that you can't pick up a random book, go to a certain chapter, and just read that chapter? There literally are no rules. And I think sometimes we get caught up is that we start a book and then we have to finish it. But there are no rules, right? You don't have to just read one book at a time. You can read 1, 2, 3, 4. You can read 10. You can read 20. You can read the first line of every chapter. There literally are no rules when you're reading a book or books. And actually, since I've started implementing this in my own life, I've actually picked up and put down a lot of books. If a book doesn't entice me in the first 2 chapters, just put it down, and I don't feel bad about it. Before, I felt really bad about it, but I've already paid for the book. Since I paid for the book, the money's already going to the author, and you're already supporting the author, so why am I wasting my time if I'm not personally enjoying a book? Now, I might come back to the book later on, and there are some books like, actually this Helen Keller book, I'm actually rereading this right now too, because last time I only got about halfway and I didn't finish it for some reason. But now I'm rereading it. So, and that goes into the next thing, is that another rule is you can reread good books. You don't have to read a book once and that's it. Every time that I read a book, I've read How to Win Friends and Influence twice. I've read The Richest Man in Babylon like 3 times. This plus the audiobook. And there's no reason why you can't reread a good book. A good book is still a good book even if you've read it. And one of the most important factors for me personally when I read a book is extracting the information, the lessons, the wisdom that the author is trying to pass on to me. That's why I read a lot of nonfiction. I read a lot of self-help books because I'm trying to use that information to better myself. So any way that I can get it, if I don't have to read through the whole book and I can just flip through a couple pages, as long as the information sticks to me personally, that's all that really matters. Now, if you do read the book, you can have a lot of stories that backs up a certain point, and that might make it click in your mind a little bit easier. But for me personally, sometimes that works and sometimes that doesn't. And nowadays, if I can just get to the point, I'll just get to the point and extract that specific information of why I picked up the book in the first place. And again, for me personally, I like to read 2 or 3 books concurrently at the same time. So for me, I usually like to read some sort of biography. With a biography, I don't flip through the pages and skip to the point. The biographies are more mainly to inspire me and to learn more about that specific person. So right now it's Helen Keller, but I also like to read some sort of self-help book as well. So it can be leadership, like The Dichotomy of Leadership by Jocko Willink, or it can be something like, The End of Average. That's the one I'm reading right now. Or The Magic of Thinking Big. Those are all great books. So that's my personal style, and that's how I like to read. And I usually read the biography in the morning, because you know, when I wake up, or really it's midday, and when I read that, I draw inspiration from it. And then later on at night, I read the self-help book, you know, and just to end on a good note. And everyone's a little bit different, and I'm still kind of even experimenting what I like to read in the daytime and what I like to read in the nighttime. So just remember this: there are no rules when you're reading book or books. So if you enjoyed that video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Comment down below, you know, what's your favorite book? Are there rules that you follow? Or maybe this was a light bulb for you. So let me know what you think in the comments. See y'all soon.